では、お時間になりましたので、
So now it's time. I would like to start. Thank you for watching and listening to Ideathon Technology, Live Technology Ideathon. I'm Kiyomi Watanabe, the moderator for today's program. Thinking about the smart city for the future, Ideathon Live Technology is to create a life where we all can live and eat and laugh together. Is hosted by workshop event hosted by Hands on Tokyo. Today, I want together as a group talk about the future and come up with great ideas for our future society. And today's Ideathon has English translation and sign language translation. Miss Tsuge Nobuko and Miss Mika Sho will be the interpreter, and Morimoto Yukioto and Hisuguchi Ayumi will be our sign language translator. So we would like to start now. First of all, on behalf of the organizer, our Live Technology, Mr. Tadahiro Kawada, would like to extend greetings. He's the president of Kawada Technologies. Hello, everyone. I'm the leader of Live Technology Leader. I'm Kawada Tadahiro. In Live Technology, we want to realize inclusive society, and we wanted to be able to incorporate technology and matching that technology and idea with the companies. Today, smart city and people with disability, and I'm happy to be able to host this Ideathon program. In Japan, or in this world, 1 out of 9 people have some form of disability. And we all gonna age and become disabled at some time in our life. My father has difficulty with his body physically. He needs walking stick to be able to walk. And he has a hearing, becoming difficult in hearing, so he's using the hearing aid. So when we think of that sense, disability is something very close to us, our lives. In Live Technology, we believe that we can overcome it by technology. In 6 years from now, Society 5.0 was advocated, and this is ICT and IoT AI. It was to use these to be able to change the mechanism of the society and to be able to resolve the problems or issues the society faces. The Ideathon that we are now starting is innovation of technology from this people with disability, but it's also a diverse concept where it's not just it's respective to disability and people with non-disability. And we want to come up with a smart city with inclusive society, a Japanese style one. And lastly, thank you for all the staff and the people who have put together this program, and those people who have volunteered to become the judging panel. Thank you very much for those of you too. And most of all, those people who are involved in Ideathon and have decided to join today. Thank you very much. I'm very excited to listen to various new ideas. And on behalf of the organizers, I would like to close my meeting. Thank you very much. Mr. Kawada, thank you very much. Next, we want to introduce you the Live Technology Ideathon, how we will do this. Mr. Takemura, please explain to us about today's Ideathon. Hello, my name is Takemura. Thank you very much for attending today's Ideathon despite your busy schedule. I want to explain to you about the theme of the Ideathon for today. And I would like to share my screen with you. The theme is creating smart cities and people with disability, thinking about our lives for our future 2030. This idea comes from the smart inclusion thoughts from 2016. And this is something that I've been active in. The word smart inclusion is smart is meaning being IT, and inclusion means to include, but it means irrespective of disability, making ideal society where anyone or everyone can live in. So smart inclusive inclusion is something that we want to make the society include everyone irrespective of the disability. I myself, I have a disability. My daughter has a Down syndrome, and the parent having a daughter or a child with disability is always wondering or worried about the future. The parents are worried that they cannot live leaving their child or children with disability. And our technology today may able to help these children living after their parents pass away. And today I want you to think about from the perspective of people with disability. The key words is that people with disability is the leader before elderly. We are the front runner in Japan of the super aging society. And some of the issues or the challenges that we face today has already been experienced by people with disabilities. And all kinds of disability are these are the people already living in today's world. But so it's easier or it's more efficient to listen to the words or the voices of people with disability to be able to improve our society. So, and use of AI and IoT or the innovation is be able to solve and also the needs of these people with disability. And lastly, I want to make this Gandhi's from India's words. This is something for inspiration. A nation's greatness is measured by how it treats its weakness members. So I hope these words will become the core of your great ideas and inspirations. Thank you.
竹村さん、ありがとうございました。続きまして、本アイディアソン。
So let me ask Tanaka, our project member, to talk about this Ideathon. So my name is Tanaka from the Lives project. So regarding today's Ideathon, I'd like to tell you how we will proceed. And so regarding the contents of the group work, we will inform you later, right before this group work begins. So at this point, I would like to let you know the overall steps. So as Takemura-san mentioned earlier, the topic of this Ideathon is regarding the future residents in 2030 for the sake of the peoples with disabilities and smart city. And today, about 5 or 6 people are put together in one team, and altogether there will be 10 teams who will be competing against each other. And when the group work starts, we will guide you to the breakout room of the Zoom by the team. And regarding this breakout room, we will allocate you to different rooms. So all you have to do is not to exit the Zoom because you will automatically be allocated to the different rooms that we assign you to. So altogether, you will have 110 minutes for the group work team, group work hours. And so please consider the overall conclusion as you come close to the end of the discussion. The 10 teams will discuss and make a plenary session presentation, and what kind of topics you will be discussing during this plenary session. We will give you some ideas. And there are 3 items that is to be judged or evaluated. Number 1, does it include a new technology? Is the content innovative? And when you consider the 2030 future, what kind of method, what kind of resource, what kind of asset, and what kind of technology will be employed must be incorporated. And innovative and some technology or methodology that you can feel the future, is it included in your presentation? And is there an accessibility from the perspective of the people with disabilities? So this is not really an ideathon considering just the future in general, but you have to understand that everything is originated from the perspective of the people with disabilities. And is it a future lifestyle in which people with disabilities will find it convenient to get around? And number 3, is it sustainable? Is another point. And we talk about this SDG context and your endeavors. How will it lead to the future? And will it have sustainability as we step forward to the future? And these are the things that we will be rating from the judges' point of view. So innovative, accessible, and sustainability will be the points as we go forward, as the judges go forward with the rating of the team's presentation. When the presentation is done based on our rating criteria, we will provide the awards for the noteworthy teams. And there will be the Excellence Award, and also the sponsors will confer you with the Sponsor Award. So at the time of the awarding ceremony, we will notify you regarding the nature of these different awards. So these are the rough points. And so there are some precautions we have to ask you before you join this Ideathon. And at the time of the application, you may have learned that this is an inclusive Ideathon. So it's not really a one-way conversation, or you shouldn't be pushing your opinion to all of your team members. Try to solicit opinions from all the members as you go forward with creating an agreement or consensus. So we ask your collaboration as to be not to be too arrogant or too one-way conversation. Make sure that you listen to the opinions of the members in your team, including the opinions of the people with disabilities. That's all from me. Tanaka-san, thank you for your input. So I will now introduce the members of the judges. President of Kawada Technologies, Mr. Tadahiro Kawada. This is Kawada. It's good to see all of you. Former Vice President of Google Head Office, US, a former President of Google Japan, Honorary Chairperson of Smart Inclusion Innovation Consortium, Mr. Norio Murakami. So Takemura-san runs this Smart Inclusion Innovation Consortium, and I serve as the Honorary Chairperson for SIIC. So it's great that I get to hear the new ideas from all of you so that we can put this possibly into practice at SIIC. I have high expectations for your suggestions and proposals. So Kawada Technosystems Vice President, Mr. Nagahiro Yamano. I'm afraid his microphone is on mute. This is Yamano. It's so great to see all of you. And also Mr. Matsumura, Katsuhiko Matsumura, Cloud Social Designer, President's Office at Cybozu. This is Matsumura. And also from Uhuru Corporation, a Chief Data Trading Officer, Mr. Koji Sugiyama. He will later be speaking as one of the inspiration speakers. And Ms. Ryoka Tsuge from Daiwa House Industry Company Limited, Head Office Liveness Town Project, East Japan Leadership Group, Senior Manager. My name is Tsuge. It's great to see all of you. Thank you. And also CEO of Sentaku Corporation, Mr. Hisamu Sato. He's the CEO at this corporation. So they are the members of the judges from the judges panel of the Ideathon. So from here on, we will start the inspiration talk number 1. And our first speaker is Mr. Koji Sugiyama. He worked in the divisions of systems engineer, corporate sales, new business development for 16 years at NTT Head Office Information Systems Division and the group companies. He later managed an IT venture company. After joining Uhuru, became the head of the development division, human resource and general affairs division, sales division, and alliance division. He also initiated the IoT business at the Uhuru Corporation. He is now driving the Smart City Project, Super City Project data distribution business as the CDTO, Chief Data Trading Officer. His extra corporate activities include positions at General Incorporated Associations such as Director at DSA, Data Society Alliance, and Advisor at MCSCC Matrix of Cyber Smart City Consortium. His publications cover topics of IoT, data distribution, and smart city. The floor is yours. So I will now show you my slides. Thank you for your kind introduction. So it's great to see all of you. My name is Sugiyama, and I don't need to self-introduce myself because of the the MC person kindly gave me a great introduction. I wrote all these books. So based on IoT and data distribution business are the topics of the publications. And IoT's textbook is published in China, translated into Chinese and Korean and throughout the world. And many people have read this. And I'm very lucky. And in recent years, you may have heard the term super city. And this is the topic. And you may have heard the internet white paper, and I wrote the column of super city. This is the first time the topic of super city was included in this white paper. You may have heard the company named Uhuru. We're we work behind the scenes. IoT, AI is the projects we work on, and we do the monitoring at the airports. And this, you later find out that this is Uhuru.
And we talk about smart city and super cities. We've been working on this project for a while since I joined this company with IoT business. That's when we started this. And these are the things I can share with you, the projects. The one topic is the yellow, the color in yellow in Susami, Norioka. We have been selected as a super city business operator in these places, and we support with the government. And if we are selected as the operator, then we will build the super city or smart city. One of the social activities that we are involved with is this organization. It's called DSA. Yes, this is Data Trading Alliance. We changed the name of the company. It was first founded in 2017. What we do here is that we help the cabinet office and the government offices, and we try to accelerate and promote the data distribution or trading. And so we've been doing this for past 3-4 years. We have lots of difficulties, but now we have different up and down. But now we have changed our name to DSA. This is innovation basic plan. What is written here is that sustainable data ecosystem is to be constructed using DSA as a core, and to build smart city or super cities. And I will talk about more of detail later in my presentation. So this is information that I extracted from the government document. Mr. Hirai, the Ministry of the Data Transformation, we've been working together, and we have published books together. So what is smart city? And different definitions for smart city, I guess there are. And this is, here I want to explain what I think about smart city is. For example, like resolving health issues using data. So if you try to manage your health with data, you can do different ways of exercising or getting data from food and nutrients, alcohol, and the medical data. All kinds of data that exists today. But as for the management of this information, they're not interconnected. There are barriers between, and this is a very funny story, because this is the data of one person, and there is no connection between these data, which is the problem that we are facing today. In terms of the use of the data, so the data has been collected in a confined way, depending on the field, industry, or like company. But that is not really effective. That has been the case until now. This kind of usage is only confined to a specific category. It's siloed. But if you talk about a person wanting to use this data, it's very ineffective, because you have to go to ask different categories. This is not human-based management of data. This is also a barrier. So what should we do? So it's a simple story to solve this problem. If there's any data that can be connected, we just have to make a platform that we can do that, and we can make a mechanism to share the data, so all of us can enjoy data in a smooth way. And being able to acquire these data, we can that will lead to new innovation and taking out the barriers. And like in the government offices, it's all siloed, the systems by ministries. And this is all the same thing. There are barriers between the ministries that is blocking the flow of the data to be managed in a linear way. So smart city is a society or world without barrier. And lastly, this is Mr. Hirai's words. Our aim is to build a user interface experience that can be used by the elderly and people with disabilities, so that no one is left behind. We place the most importance on developing a ministry system that is thoroughly accessible to all people. And the government is in this looking in this direction as well. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now we would like to move to Inspiration Talk 2. Our next guest speaker is Ms. Ryoka Tsuge. Tsuge is from Daiwa House Industry, and she has a Liveness Town project of the Human Care Business Promotion Division. Since 2014, Daiwa House Industry has been exchanging opinions with the residents of Kamigo Neopolis, a suburban residential area in Yokohama City, which they developed in the 1970s. Through industry, academia, government collaboration, they are working to revive the area to attract people of all ages. From the perspective of SDGs, the Liveness Town project focuses on resolving various regional challenges arising from the aging population, creating a system and developing products and services that facilitate the residents. So, Ms. Tsuge, please. Now I would like to share my screen with you. So, can you see my screen? Hello, I'm Tsuge from Daiwa House Industry. Today, I want to share with you a case study of an inclusive town developed from Kamigo Neopolis. From 1960s, we have 61 suburban development complex in the suburbs. We call it new towns. Since then, after that, we've been trying to transform these complexes into more smart community, smart society with saving energy. We have launched a project called Liveness Town, or that will solve problem with society and some of the problem that the people are facing, and that is based on the SDGs concept. We say not reform but revive. We want to use the land, the property, and the houses into a more lively and reviving places for people to live. And we don't want anyone to be left behind. That is the belief of the SDGs, and we are focusing our development based on 11 and 12.
So this is the vision and mission of the endeavors, and those residents in the community. It's a place, we want this to be a place where it is sustainable and which will flourish, continue to develop, a town where you can continue to live, or people, newcomers can come and stay with us, would want to stay with us. So Kamigo Neopolis, we started the sales in 1972, and we have about 850 houses. The population is 2,000 people. 18 minutes bus ride from the JR station Konandai. And the aging rate is 50%. It is the most aging. It is the highest aging rate among all the Neopolis nationwide. So this is how we proceeded for the sustainable creation of the town. And these are the a couple we started to have an exchange of opinions with, and these were watching over the elderly in this community. So we wanted to start a active senior. We wanted to look at the active senior and build a network community, and we were looking for a business model to enable this network. And we had a survey of about 5,000 citizens who are 50 years or older. And as we exchanged opinions with the Kamigo Neopolis, we understood that because of the aging, there were some serious issues. And 1 year after we started the exchange of the opinions, we asked the local residents to start this neighborhood community association, and we asked them to have a hearing among the residents, exchange and the supporting of each other. And people had some expressed inconvenience of the shopping. So we started this community facility, which is built right next to the convenience store. And this is how we address the issue. The neighborhood community association, in order to achieve a sustainable community, we ask the help of the universities and all the industries and also the municipalities of Yokohama City. So this is a collaboration of the industry, government, and academia. So from last year, we could not open the facility to use it due to COVID-19, and we haven't been doing the event. But as we exchanged with the residents, because of the lowering of the communication instances, people were anxious about their health. So for 2 months from the end of October, we started this. We had this Neopolis campaign, and the town mobilities demonstration experiment was conducted. So let me share that instance with you. So this is the last 1 mile. It is the means of mobility service. This is the electric senior cart, which can accommodate 7 people or just 1 person. And this is when this personal mobility wheel, thanks to the support of the Yokohama City, we introduced 13 carts, and 3 carts were put to a sharing service. And this is a couple who who are using it on the individual rental basis. And he had some walking issues because one of his legs were amputated, the husband's. And so this was used by the couple, and over the 3 weeks, we wanted as many people as possible to use it. So we installed SDG cards so that the citizens can go and fetch each one of the cards. And there were also events that were planned for touring using this wheel. And now people were moving around in a lot wider space in the community, and they really enjoyed the expansion of their mobility space. And during the campaign last year, the senior citizens were able to enjoy the video chat because they don't have iPhones or smartphones. It's a communication tool that you get to look at the faces of their grandchildren or their children, people who are living apart in distant area. And there were senior citizens who didn't see their grandchildren for 1 year, and now this lady is showing a cardigan that she knit for her granddaughter. And this TV phone is now being developed. We want to add some services such as distributing food, meals to the senior citizens. And this is the town creation journal that we issue every year. And since last year, we have had a consultation center. And so from here on, we will try to discuss the services that they are looking for, so that we get to have a reading lab or a study group meeting. And various information and the points of contact among the residents, they can gather all kinds of information so that this can be provided to some information platform can be provided so that the optimum distribution of information style can be realized. So there are vacant lots and vacant houses, and we're planning to build a new terrace where people can have exchange. So this can be used as a co-working space or a consultation room. So the university students or the families who have children can make use of this space so that various people can make use of this kind of space that will be built in the vacant lots and vacant houses. So this is how we try to co-work a township with the help of the Kamigo residents. Thank you, Ms. Tsuge. So at this point, the third inspiration talk will be given by Mr. Hisamu Sato. He's also one of the judges, and he is the CEO at Sentaku Corporation. He was born with SMA, or spinal muscular atrophy, which limits his physical ability. However, this limitation does not stop him from actively engaging in his duties as Sentaku CEO, university faculty, ambassador of his hometown, and columnist for a newspaper. He calls himself bedridden president. He acquired an MBA in 2019. His publications include Bedridden but a President, a story of a severely disabled who became a CEO at age 19. He is also a YouTube personality, regularly posting videos on Hisamu channel, which is a homonym with a Japanese expression. Hisamu lies down. So the floor is yours. Thank you for the kind introduction. So let me show you my video, my slides. Can you see? So thank you for the kind introduction. I am the president of Sentaku Corporation. My name is Sato. So this is an ideathon which includes the topic of people with disabilities. As there has been an explanation, I have a severe disability. And when you hear the word disability, you might have pity on these people. You may be sympathetic, thinking, oh, it must be a lot of trouble. So it seems to be a rather negative image that seems to be commonplace. But this negative image, it must be changed. And because it can be changed by idea that is complied with IT. I think the future of the people with disabilities will transform as if you combine these two things. And this idea and IT actually did change my life, who has a disability. So this is a simple self-introduction of myself. I was born in Tokai City of Aichi Prefecture, and my current activities include CEO, president at Sentaku Corporation, and I go to lectures. I speak at lecture meetings and events, and I also belong to entertainment agency Central Japan, hometown ambassador for Tokai City in Aichi Prefecture, and I'm also a part-time lecturer at a university based in Nagoya. So why did I consider starting a company called Sentaku? So this company this year marks the 10th anniversary since its foundation. And we started this company in 2011. So 10 years ago, we started this company. And the reason why I'm running this company, why you have a severe disability, and why did you think of starting a company on your own? And Sato-san, you have a severe disability. Even if you don't work, nobody will complain. People say that. But the reason why I started this company, it's really a high hurdle. It's a high obstacle. That's because
the reason why I founded my company is because I didn't have a place to work for. Many people start their business after they work for some company for a few years. But for me, I had no choice because of my disability, because I'm bedridden and I cannot move my body on my own. And I thought no company, or actually there were no company hiring like myself. For me to work, what can I do? How can I do to work and to be part of the society? And when I thought about that, I thought I would just create my own working place, company for myself. That was the only alternative left for me. So for me, I had no alternative of not working. And 10 years from now, I founded my company, Sentaku. But I still think that if I were born like 100 years from now, I would not have able to establish a company and work like I am doing now. But now I can do what I'm doing like other people they do at work. That is all because ICT, the technology, is there to help me to work. And ICT or technology actually made me become the company. And my company, Sentaku, as I mentioned earlier, I founded 10 years ago. And in the corona pandemic now, and many people are struggling today with their employees. But for us, 10 years from now, we've been implementing teleworking. Myself too, and my staff too, who have disabilities. For us, going to the offices is very difficult. And this person, our member, he's also bedridden, but it's not his house, but he's working from his hospital bed. At hospital, there's internet, and if he has a smartphone, he can work from anywhere. The location of work is not an issue, and that's what we've been doing with our company Sentaku. Especially for myself, in my daily life, I use different kinds of ICT. And you will wonder how I would manage to use the computer, like how it is shown here. So this is how it is located, and I will use. So how would I utilize? I will use my eyes. I move my eyes to manipulate and use the computer. And I have slight movement on my left hand, and that also helps me manipulate the computer. So the eye, the work of the eye and the voice is what we use. Some staff in our company use voice to use the time card. So even with our staff who have a very minimal movement of mobility, we use our eye movement and voice. So even people who are bedridden, we can work, and we are able to see more company or more people working like I do. And lastly, I cannot introduce you all of my activities, but I also have a YouTube channel where I introduce myself, my activities, and I introduce to people using ICT, you can do all this kind of thing, that kind of thing. So if you are interested, please come and see my YouTube channel, Hisamu-chan Sleeping. Again, thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to the program. Mr. Sato, thank you very much. And thank you for waiting. So shortly, we will be moving to group discussion. From here, the committee leader, Mr. Tanaka, I will hand over to him to explain about the discussion.
説明させていただきたいと思います。
と皆様には各グループに分かれて分けたいと思います。でそれにあたりまして、最初にですね、今皆様順次、
So you are divided into teams, and you are, if you have not registered with your actual name, please let me know. I want to check, read out some of the names. IT24.
ますので、ご自身の名前の設定を今この Zoom 内で
Please change your setting of your name in the Zoom if you can do so. And now I want to explain how we do the group work. So it's people with disability, the smart city for 230 our future living. As I mentioned earlier, I want you to think about our future 230. I want you to have a big dream. And I have this word, think big. I want you to think big, which means if you think changing in a small sense is very important, but I want you to think bigger picture, and I want you to come up with a bigger dream, whether it is possible to realize or not, but I want you to come up with such a big ideas. And we want to use the technology, and we have members of the companies are participating today that such idea and technology can be put together to be realized. And so try not to narrow down your possibility thinking that you might not be able to realize.
So I want to present you some kind of a framework in this work to be used in this workshop. So to create an innovation in the society is something similar that's comparable to climbing a high mountain, and we want you to have this quantum leap. So the goal is really far. So you want to create this innovation in the society. How should you get there? It may be difficult to find the goal in realistic terms. So if you can compare it to the climbing of a really difficult mountain. So we want you to climb a higher mountain than any other climbers. And the reason why I compared it to social mountain is depending on the perspective, how you want to come up with an innovation. You may want to change the interior in the house, or you may want to change the exterior. And depending on such perspective, you may want to choose the right mountain. Do you want to climb Mount Fuji or Mount Everest, or maybe a nearby mountain, Mount Takao? It's not really this mountain's good or bad. You may want to look for the right mountain that you want to climb that helps you to grow. So when you think of a mountain, please look at this chart. This is a mountain climber. There's various trees, and there's even rivers, and all these kinds of obstacles. And the process of overcoming these obstacles is the process of an innovation. And let's say you are at the left side of this mountain, and and you may want to envision what kind of world the top of the mountain is. And the perspective is the vertical axis, and horizontal axis is the hour. And if 2030 is the summit of the mountain, you want to envision what kind of a world is at the summit of this mountain. And there's hurdles, obstacles, there's cliffs and rivers and trees, and all these means such as resource of the companies and technology can be used in order to overcome these obstacles as you climb the mountains. Again, when you envision yourself at the top of the summit, it is the future of 2030, and down top left is bottom left is your current situation. And we want you to employ the perspective of a person with disability. And what would you want? I want you to envision your as is and to be. And there are two perspectives. You can always consider things from a forecasting point of view. And so there's a current challenge that you're facing, and you want to change it incrementally. For example, if you want to enter a big building, there are steps, and you want this to be a slope, and otherwise people in the wheelchair cannot enter with ease. So that would be the forecasting. So we call it the churning of the PDCA cycle. You find the challenges little by little and improve things incrementally, little by little. That's not wrong, but and it's important if you want to solve an issue or challenges. However, let me give you an example. No matter how you try to, when you think of the means of mobility, you may walk or run or use an animal to pull you. No matter how far you improve the horse carriage, there's an innovation gap to, it took an industrial revolution to give birth to a railroad. And so instead of incrementally climbing or improving, first envision what kind of a dream you have as a goal, and we want you to have a perspective as to envision yourself as to how to get there. We already have had airplanes and railroads when we were born, but if you can, maybe there is a possibility or a dream that allows you to be in any part of the world in 1 second. So in order to achieve that kind of big dream, how do you get there is the perspective I want you to employ. So have you heard of the term backcasting? And it's a totally different way from the forecasting. So you first look at the summit of the mountain you want to climb. In 2030, 10 years from now, what kind of world do you envision? And then you consider how can you achieve that. So we don't want you to be restricted to the term forecasting or backcasting, but instead of climbing incrementally, you first have to have a big goal of where you want to get at, and that's your destination. Sorry. So simply put, if you can complete this sentence, what kind of an error should the world be placing itself in the year 2030? We want you to start from that kind of topic. So incrementally is forecasting, but backcasting is you first zoom up the mountain and reach the summit first and foremost, and then look back on you where you are in as-is basis and think consider how to fill the gap. So all these 3 points should be considered over 110 minutes. Number one, as is. Well, I said as is, but simply put, in what kind of situation are you put from a persons with disabilities point of view? What kind of challenges do they have? And now you go to the number two, to be. Based on the challenges that you're facing, what would be the to be picture? What is the desirable state? And number three is how to fill the gap to realize the to be. how is the step that you should follow as you in 110 minutes. And the steps will be explained to you later. Facilitators will come and facilitate in each of your teams. And you don't have to cram everything what I just mentioned in your head now. The facilitator will guide you step by step, and he or she will tell you what to think first, and you can depend on their guidance. So please proactively be engaged in this discussion. So these are the precautions or explanation as to what kind of goal that we want you to come up with. So workshop steps is some specific instructions on this. So you will be assigned a different breakout rooms, and the one facilitator at least will be assigned to each of the team, and he or she will confirm the members and start the work. Once the group work starts, we want you to do a self-introduction, your name, your affiliation, and or any kind of organizations that you belong to, maybe a school, or what are you engaged in, what kind of jobs, what kind of activities, and if you're a student, what your specialty or what you are studying. You don't have to elaborate on it. Very simply, you can introduce the team, your characters. And this can be done on a team-to-team basis. After the self-introduction is done, under the topic, the people with disabilities and smart city, you may have had some interest in this topic. That's why you're here today. So what exactly intrigued your interest can be explained by the team members. And of course, maybe people have different commitment levels. Maybe you're a specialist in this kind of field, and so you have had a very thorough understanding of this topic. Or maybe somebody who has who participated in this program out of some thoughts on a daily basis. So without any hesitancy or in simple terms, you can explain the motivation to us. And based on this framework, you can start the group work. But one step is, one point is, it is important that you follow the order or the priority. Instead of jumping into the technology discussion or shooting for a certain goal. Of course, you can exchange anything during the discussion, but it's important that you first look at the challenges that you are facing and which mountain do you choose? Do you go to a nearby mountain or do you go to a faraway mountain? So that can be discussed among the team, and as you proceed with the discussion. But you can say this kind of topic or technology is interesting. I mean, you can propose it as an alternative. So 1, 2, 3 would be a great way to proceed. And the topic again is smart city and people with disabilities to conceive of a residence of the future, 2030. 2030 is one way to look at the future. It's 2021. As we carry out this workshop, this would be a point to consider a city 10 years from now. is 2035 or 2040 not okay? It could be far away, far future from now. But if you, we thought that 2030 would be a good time, because if you think too much of a near future, you may not take a quantum leap. So I thought that envisioning of the future is the most important topic.
今回やはりこの、障害
As I
者
explained earlier, smart city and people with disability, when we talk about these, SDGs initiative or perspective cannot be avoided. So I know all of you have some understanding or hear in news about SDGs. So these 17 goals of SDGs, if your idea or your plan can incorporate any of these, or at least one or two, it will be very good. But if you have a specific idea, like what you want to, you want to focus on like 10, the SDGs 10. But you can do that, but in a company, we don't actually do it that way, because that way we can narrow down and the discussion, the views and the discussion will not expand. And so when it comes to after discussion, when you were able to incorporate any of these with a bigger picture, that is the best way for us, for you to discuss in this Ideathon. I talked about the steps 1, 2, and 3, and just clarify with you again. First one is as is. Sorry, it's in English. So what I want you to think about first is, who is the target? Today, this time is the people with a disability, so they will be probably the targets. What kind of challenges or issues they are facing with? Something like inside, in their minds or physically. It's better if you come up with a very specific images. And if the first step is discussed in a very broad way, it's difficult to see the specific image or the challenges. So please come up with more concrete images for this first step. And of course, not just with the people with a disability, but can be like a family who have a disability person. That can be also included in the discussion. The team is based on the people with disability and smart city, so it can be approached from different way. And the second step is the goal. Where is the goal of the summit? So we want you to consider like what would be the goal, aim for target in 2030. And big dream based on SDGs, something that we want you to do. I want you to come up with a big dream. If someone has a big dream, people will say, "Oh, that's impossible." And I think we don't want that kind of like discussion. Please try not to say, this is not good, this is not impossible. We want, please respect others' ideas and thoughts. And when you come up with a goal, the next is how to do this. How can this goal can be achieved for this target? And what kind of like technologies and resources should be used to achieve this goal? For each team, for this workshop, at least one person will be assigned to each group who has a knowledge of technology. We try to have a variety of person in the team, so we have different ideas and thoughts and discussion, and we want thoughts from different perspectives as well. So the step 1, 2, and 3 is the procedure that we want to take as a group. And as for the workshop time, you'll be given 110 minutes, and I will explain later in detail, but it's up to you to run the discussion. But if you are focused like too much, you might get tired. So I want you to take at least one break, which is 10 minutes. So this is a minimum break that we want you to take, but depending on your group condition, situation, you are free to take as much break as you need, so that the group can work fully. And this is like a rough idea on how to use your time. So I will give you 110 minutes, starting with a self-introduction and sharing ideas, and your thoughts about the project. So it's up to the team to decide, but we want you to finish with coming up with a presentation. So we want you to give when you do your group work, come up with a who do what, like a role, so that and early, we want you to do that at earlier stage so that everything will move smoothly. And then for the work, you do 1, 2, and 3 steps that I mentioned. The first one is what is the challenge the target is facing now. The second is what is the condition or goal for the target in 2020. And the third one is how can this goal can be achieved, and wrap up. And depending on the team, some people will spend more time with more sections within their discussion time. So the facilitator will be controlling, how you spend your time in each section of your discussion. And this, we have shared this in advance. We have this tool called Miro. You probably using PCs or tablet, or this can be seen through browser, so it's not an application. So if you enter to the browser, it's like a whiteboard for your team to use. You can use the Post-it, and you can put the images, the illustration, or write, or you can use as a whiteboard. So please utilize this Miro for your discussion. Not all have to access to this. Miro. So again, please use this as a whiteboard. Can you hear me? Sorry for that earlier. So use this as a whiteboard. Not all have to join, but someone from a team can be, can be in charge to use this. But this is not like a must tool, so you can use anything else like a PowerPoint or Zoom or regular whiteboard. Any tool is available, is you can use them. So you don't have to constrict yourself in using this one. But we just wanted to share this so that you can utilize. And at the end, we will have the presentation. As explained earlier, we want your requirement for the presentation is to include 1, 2, and 3. And in your presentation, you can use a PowerPoint or Miro, or can be the written paper, document. It can be any form. But we want you to clearly identify these 3 steps. So the presentation will be nice if you have something like this with 1, 2, 3, and there's a mountain. So, but we don't have any specific style that we want you to work with. So if that's free for you. to choose. And the judging criteria is to be innovative and accessible and to be sustainable. These are the criteria. So you don't have to think about coming to the idea that we have to, focus on sustainability, accessibility, or so forth. While you work with a discussion, you just check each other whether these 3 points are included in your idea and your plan. So with this, I end my explanation about the group work. And after this, we'll give you some explanation before breaking out. We are now working on for the breakout rooms. And I'm sure, I think we have all of your names, and some people fixed your names already for us. So after this, we will separate into groups. Each group will be given a number for your name, group name, 1 to 10. So please have a common understanding of which numbered group you belong to.
So we may have to change the number of the people included in each team. And once we attach a figure to the team, we want you to put the number in front of your names, like the name that show up in this Zoom account. So when the presentation is done later, we want to make sure who is making presentation for what team. So if you can put the number of the team at the acronym of your name, which shows up in the Zoom account. So we will now start the team distribution, team assignment. So the facilitator knows which team they will be responsible for, and we may change the makeup of the team. So,
名前の変更で。
put the number of the team. So you put the number of the team in front of your name, which shows up in the Zoom account. If you don't know how, you don't have to. We just want to, if it's possible, that would be great, because we know who you are and which team you belong to. So let's start, and see you in 110 minutes. So each team, please be as proactive as possible as you exchange your opinions. Make sure you don't keep a long silence, or you don't keep on talking and talking without listening to other people's opinions. That's not good. So now we will guide you into the breakout rooms. And if you have any questions, please grab your facilitator and ask your own questions. Okay, so enjoy your breakout room session.
Thank you for waiting. To all viewers and listeners, welcome back. YouTube live streaming has resumed, and we will now start presentation of the ideas. There are 8 teams. We start from the first team. Okay, so we want to ask the first team to come up and give their presentation. I think one additional message to make. So we want all team to make their presentation in 4 minutes. And I want all the members of each team to turn their camera on. So whether you are speaking or not, we want your faces, but the person who is speaking should be unmuted, and with others being muted. So timer will be turned on after 4 minutes. And so please make your presentation in 4 minutes. Thank you. So let's start with the first team.
では、第一チームよろしくお願いします。スタートで
First
す。
team, please start.
では、第一チームよろしくお願いします。スタートです。
I want to share my screen with you all first. So can you see my screen? Team designer is our name of the team. So in the society now, barrier here is spreading. However, some are not meeting with the needs. And therefore, so we wanted to target those people who has been left out from this. We want to make a society where we have the ear to listen to the different the needs of the people, and to be able to construct a design which meet the needs of each one of us. As a specific reason, we want to change the source of the user become the designer and change the stance of the design using the technology. And all of us become the users, become the designer. When there's a person with a disability in the meeting, or if not cannot attend the meeting, we want to change that needs, and to be using digital devices can solve this problem. As for that digital, we need to come up with a database that accumulate that data, like a big data that we can avail to accommodate the needs. And the accumulated data can be used, can be reflected, should be reflected, so that they can be used to so that announcements or comments can be used to communicate to meet the needs of the disabilities. Thank you very much. Now we want to move on to question and answer session. If you have any question, please raise your hand. Okay, Mr. Matsumura, please. When you talk about design, it's very broad, like social design or all kinds of design. Specifically, what do you have in my mind? Design. Did you come up with any specific design in discussion? Right now, we were talking about a design in the kitchen. Today, in kitchen, it's basically used with people standing. That's how it's designed. But within that status, if a person is using a wheelchair, or if for a child, it will be difficult for a standard kitchen. So if we can custom made these kitchen, that will be more useful for all kinds of people. Yes, I can get a better image now. Thank you. Thank you very much. Do you have any other questions? Next team, please. Second team. Are you ready for your presentation? Can I just speak like this? Yes, we are hearing you. Yes. Sorry, I'm going to be using the Miro and my son handwritten notes with you today for our presentation. Can you see our Miro board? Yes, we can see your board. So our team 2 came up. The title is transparent, using a transparent light to use to see the view, the screen to use to protect the house. So we had the issue or the challenge is how to protect or look after people with intellectual disabilities. And the community become very isolated when people are kept, aside. So whether it's a real or virtual situation, if we can make a platform where we can have, communication, especially in the fields of education, that would be that is what we came up with. And people with disability or parents who having children with disability, it's not just teaching in a standard way, but in a way that there's a disability as a basis in the education and we learn from each other. And third point is, how can we accommodate to the people with a hearing disability? And fourth one is those people with like a development disability or autism. We need some kind of like instruction so that it's easier for them to live in a daily life. And the fifth point is, when there's people become like, injured or in accident, there should be like a way to communicate good system when these emergencies happen. So for these issues that we came up, I put into a picture like this. Can you see our picture? This is like what I mentioned is a transparent screen protecting or looking after people in the house. This is like an image that I have. In the middle of this house, there is a big space. This is a platform. For example, in the lower left, a person named A or B will be in their rooms and using this platform online. This is a platform in the reality. This is what we assume. And if Mr. A or Miss B or have some kind of disability that they cannot go physically to this platform. And so what happened is that the platform will be sharing communication through online. And like, person C, like Mr. C person can actually, is mobile, so they can go actually to the actual platform in reality. So we have a combination of the real and the virtual communication or connection. And this kind of like protection by community is what we have put together. And the blue is for Mr. B, and for red is for Mr. B. We can have a space where we can all, can be accommodated in one place, but considering the personal space, we thought about making like a personal space like this, whether it's online or not online. And this the transparent screen here, in how to achieve this, we have technology to make the walls transparent. So maybe we can use this wall like that, like a transparent screen. And this wall or screen is normally transparent, but time to time it can become like opaque and can look like a regular wall. So people can like write a picture on the wall or use the wall as a regular wall. So making transparent opaque is the idea of this wall, which is very flexible. And for the blue space and the red space are also segregated by like a transparent wall. It can become a regular wall or transparent wall. And the technology is needed to be able to do that.
お願いします。
一応緊急事態があった時には、
So for emergency,
一応緊急事態とかがあった時
we can see what's happening inside, and if there's any like fire or something happens, the wall, the written words on the wall can be an instruction for those people in the behind the disability people to respond to. Thank you very much.
質疑応答へと移らせていただきます。ご質問
So
のある
now
方
we move on to Q&A. Any questions? This is Murakami. So you're contemplating something like a share house share, or people who want to be watched or monitored would remodel their house so that part of their house will become this with a wall with the liquid crystal. So each individual's house can partially incorporate technology, but that's very costly, and some people live in rental houses. So in a limited region of a community, there's a platform, and so people generally commute from their house to this kind of house, or remotely, then they can come to stay in this house virtually. Or if the prices can be brought down for such house, for such technology, maybe later in the future it can be incorporated partially in individual houses. But we first would like to have a platform to confirm this ideal model, and later this can be with the hope that this will eventually be installed in the people who need this kind of technology, or in the houses of the people with disabilities. Thank you for your response. So team 3, I give the floor to you now. This is Suzuki. I will be presenting on what was discussed during the team 3 meeting. So this is my screen. We discussed these things as described in the mural. So team 3, our name of the team is Sun. We have a very cheerful and members. And as is, this will be a target. So among the members, the visually impaired person and somebody who has a cardiac function limitation, and the comment include the keyword that says parents are worried about their disabled children after they pass away. So when the visually disabled person, when this person began experiencing visual impairment, they cannot lead a life that they used to lead. But if you're a child, you would be supported by your own parents. So if there is any supportive function, this person who will be losing their ability, they can lead a life before the impairment or the disability came to them. So to be is another keyword. A society that doesn't need any institutions for the disabled. So people with disability needed support, and but unless they have the support, they cannot lead a normal life. But if they have appropriate support, they can still lead a life that they used to experience. But of course, you can continue to use the facility for the disability. So this is how we came up with the future picture. How do you implement that? How do you realize that? Hologram this is an expression using a screen. Virtual images can be visualized, and also artificial intelligence is equipped by the people who follow up, or people who care the disabled. So these people show up in the hologram as an image, and these images will follow up care for the people with disabilities. It could come from the sound, or if they identify any danger or risk, they will send signals, warnings, and if there's any emergency, if that person cannot communicate, the virtual hologram individual personality will make a emergency call on behalf of the person with disability. So that is the kind of support system we are visualizing. Sorry, this was a very quick overview. So the virtual screen is something supportive, and they cannot advise or support everything. So it's a customized informing, and that AI can identify whether this is an instance to alarm the person, or maybe this alarm may not be necessary, and AI can even make a decision, discern these occasions. So the person with disability has been accustomed or familiar with the calls from their own parents. So this is why we want this individual to be bearing the image of the parents. So questions from the floor? May I? Among the targets, the visually impaired, and you also want a society. You want to realize a society that doesn't need an institution for the disabled. So maybe it could be children of the parents who are deceased, but these children could be healthy, normal children. It depends on the situation, I think. Children who have a severe disability, if their parents are deceased, maybe they need an institution for the people with disability. But if they can lead a life, as long as they have a support at their own house, this kind of mechanism would be useful, and stay away from the institution of the severely disabled. So children whose parents are deceased, whether they have handicap or not.
Fourth team, please, with your presentation. The fourth team? Yes, number 14. Yume Kurashi is our team name. I'm Hasegawa, who will be the presenter. We use like post-it to come up with different ideas. And this is how we paste it on a board, and we combine those and put together as a result. Yume Kurashi, a dreamer, but we believe we want for 2030, the people with disability or not can speak openly. And sustainable world, I think the number 11, sustainable cities and community, that is our target. As for now, the people with disability have difficulty raising their issues. And when they do that by SNS, them sometimes being complained. And recently, there was a mobility with a wheelchair in a station without a station manager became an issue, and there was a lot of attacks and complaints seen on SNS. Like if there is no person on the station to look after, the wheelchair people, people with wheelchair won't use it anyway, don't they? And when these issues come up, people who are vulnerable, it will become even more difficult for them to raise their voice. Not just with like the wheelchair, but most people with development disability as well. And opening, and people say don't attract people's mind, saying that you have a disability of development, and people with disability or not, and people without disability tend to not listen to voices of people with disability. In Japan, and the physical barrier-free is becoming more and more, but in terms of like in a mental or psychological way, we are still far behind in Japan. So we have to be able to help each other in sharing our feeling and thoughts. That's what I think is necessary for our future. When people with a wheelchair or disability have difficulty traveling to places with like steps and stairs, and asking for help in those situations, we see some people want help, and some people want to help, who needs help and who wants help. If there is an application that connects the two, like there is an application on the like watch or the eyeglasses, and then that will like notify that you want help, and if those people who wants to help, they can go ahead and help those people with disabilities. That connects the people between who wants help and who needs help and who wants help. Some people might be willing to help, but because they fear some danger, or they cannot they become hesitant in helping. And this is also with the elderly too, not just with the people with disability. So installing this application to able to match the people who wants the help and who needs the help will lead to smart city, the city where people are comfortable to live in. Then we can do that in the center area where barrier-free is needed, and this application basically to overcome this barrier. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. If you have any question, I'm Murakami. You Dream Glass. You are talking about like wearable, like a smart eyeglasses, and you are thinking to support matching kind of device. Is that right? Like this can be applied to accessories, something very small like that too. Eyeglasses and can be in case with watches too.
ありがとうございました。
Thank you.
続きまして、5チームの発表よろしくお願いいたします。続きまして、5チームよろしくお願いいたします。
Okay, team 5, please. So this is Ishi.
今画面少し変えてお待ちください。
I'm changing the screen for you. Yes, we're ready. Our team name is Go Go Future Team because we were team 5 and 5 is Go in Japanese. So what we're doing is Tanida-san, Nakatsuka-san, Osako-san, 4 of us are in the same team and among the members who are visually impaired, we try to extract the current challenges that they face. For those who a safe and secure mobility for those who cannot travel with ease. Those who cannot travel with ease is audially, visually impaired, and women who are pregnant, senior citizens, and women with buggies. And the time that they take to cross the street or these paths for visually impaired people, and all these signals, traffic signals that comes with music is only limited in numbers. And for those who are audially impaired, crossing is a very scary place. So these are the challenges that they face. So in 2030, we would like the world to be a society without any crossing that doesn't need any traffic signals. So people who cannot travel with ease, how can they travel with ease? What would be the mobility convenience that they should be having? And the idea that was given was a personalized move system. It's a word that we just coined, and the cars can be driven automatically, but humans should systematize a personalized move so they can identify, they can learn or predict their mobility 10 seconds from now. So safe and secure needs can be satisfied by guiding that person. So humans are mobilized and automobiles are moving and everybody's on the street. But if those people who are not good at traveling, if they can disclose where they are going, their path, their routes, they won't. They first and foremost would avoid going to a perilous, dangerous place. And there are automobiles who can identify that these transportation vulnerables, people vulnerable to transportation, is coming soon. So coexistence of safe automatic driving and the pedestrians. So we can match the automatic driving with the mobility patterns of the pedestrians. Maybe 10 years from now, we want all the traffic signals to be removed. So we would like to envision a system that is automatically mutually connected. So this could be the 11th SDG, which is sustainable cities and communities. Thank you for that presentation. So please, any questions from the floor for Team 5?
いいですか？
はい。
personalized move system that you mentioned. So you get to share your own positions or location by GPS system, right? Yes, it's a system that incorporates GPS. See, all these transportation operation information can be searched, and you can forecast the routes that person is taking, and you can fragmentalize that. You can make it into more detailed information so that they can propose a safer path and be able to present that to the walker. So using applications and smartphone, these services will be available in the end product. I think that would be the closest pattern. Maybe it could be presented in the wearable, or maybe we can incorporate that technology in your eyeglasses. That might be great. Spectacles. Thank you. So let's go to Team 6. I give the floor to Team 6. So Team 6, our team name is, I don't think we ever discussed that. Sorry about that. We don't have a team name. So we want the society to be in which, even if it's contactless, you get to feel the people's warmth. That's the kind of world we want in 2030. So development disorder person and people who are withdrawn, the minorities' thoughts and feels cannot be understood. And these people, they themselves do not understand what they're thinking or what they're feeling. So there are mismatches, and there are, and people are at a loss because they can't really understand themselves. And so for that society, we want people to be able to be in to affirm what they are feeling. So if you can sort of feel each other's warmth, even if it's a contactless society, and that's the kind of society we're looking for. And there are so many mismatches because you can't really disseminate your own information. You can't really voice what you're feeling. So virtual space and collaborating with other devices, coordinating with other devices, the sounds and the images or senses or feels, like warmth. If the warmth can be felt through these devices, maybe people can feel closer to each other. In the real space, IoT translation and smart glasses can be used. So the senses, people have different senses, and you get to feel these senses and share that kind of senses. So why do we keep on misunderstanding each other, and why do you feel that the society is difficult to survive? So people can get together and complement each other's ideas to understand what would be a good solution for that. Did we discuss anything else? I'm asking my teammates. No, you didn't leave out anything. This is a she. So let's say I am healthy individual, and if I can sort of favorably feel or understand the thoughts of the people with disability. It's not like we're looking for a solution, but people with disability want us to understand that it's their personality, it's their individuality that they are not good at certain things. And if you are able to understand that kind of feeling, people can be able to embrace more diversity. So it's not really a disability, but it's an individuality, it's a personality. And so then all the people can arrive at a new way of perspective, new way of thinking. Thank you to Team 6 for the great presentation. So anybody with any questions? Anybody? Yes, please. Matsumura has a question. Thank you for a great presentation. So to be able to understand favorably the sense that you cannot do something. So to exchange the idea that you cannot do something. You do that. So it's not like you're feeling the warmth, or it's not like you feel that sense, right? So if you can understand the feel that person, your counterpart, cannot do certain things, I think that's very interesting. So why does this person come to a certain conclusion? And if you are able to mutually understand that, that would be great. Thank you. You helped me to understand that.
Thank you very much. Next, Team 7, please, your presentation. I'm Shimada from 17. We didn't use Milo. We put it together in a slide like this. In the team, we had some visual disability, person with visual disabilities and some others. And sharing time guide robot is the topic. The as is, when we go for grocery shopping, this is also for with elderly and with other people with disability. It's difficult for them to carry that heavy load. And when they're outside, they want also some support when they're out. And also exploring new spot is difficult for them. This is coming from the visual impairment. It's difficult for them to find new places. And what can be done to resolve these? So if there is a sharing robot that can help wherever the places they are, and town guide, or like carrying things, or like a cart, bringing people to different places, that would be great. And also the vocal AI, a verbal AI, and can be having a touch panel, or if the technology can learn about the preference of each person, that would be great. And everything this can only be, first of all, done remotely, because totally automatic is not, it's the first step. So this is the idea that we came up with. And also remote controlling this system without or with or without this disability, we can avail this remotely and go to their places where they wish to with more freedom. And for the how, we need to develop a robot. We need to get budget. And if we were to do this remotely, we need the qualification for those people who do remote operation. And also like proof of concept and demonstration, all of that is necessary, as well as training of the operators. And as for the 3Gs, I think our concept idea fits to these three. As for like the concept 9, the robot, we can put it into a platform and we can create services that adapt to each local areas. And for number 11, even a person without disability or like a pregnant woman, it will be convenient if they have this kind of service or technology. And people who are living there and people who come visit to these places can also avail this to make it easy for them to navigate. Thank you very much. Any question, please? Who has a question? Any question? No question? Okay. Okay, so we will move on. Next, team 8, please. Yes, okay, first I want to share my screen with you. We just came up with a team, like a spreading team. Because we are 8, with or without the disability, we want to solve this social problem issues together. Now moving on to the presentation. So these are some of the things that we came up as the challenges. We have some difficulty trying to cope between people with disability and non-disability. And there was a limitation of the interaction between these two groups. So they have, it's difficult for them to imagine what kind of person a person with disability will be. So even if they were spoken on the train, they wouldn't know how to cope with them or to respond to them. And so because they don't have the the knowledge, they would know how to cope with these people or what kind of work or help that they can do with these people. So as for the goal for smart city, whether it is the elderly or if it's a people with a disability, regardless of that, all kinds of people have that exchange, can interact. That is the smart city that we think. And after the corona pandemic, we don't think we will go back to the world we used to be. So there will be some restrictions. So in such kind of the distancing, this kind of smart city, it will be easy to accelerate the communication between these people. And this is something that we want to have, more communication without stress. And in 2030, what we want to realize is to make the whole town will become a facility which has multiple function and multiple purposes. And it's easy to get around, and the long distance will become less stressful and easy to, the mobility is smooth. If you can have just one button if you want to talk to someone, not just speaking, if you want to actually see and speak, and it would be nice that if there is a device that can do that, like touching a button or your glasses, then you will express that you want to see or speak with someone. I think that would be a nice thing that we can do. And as for the software side, we came up with a very comfortable, smooth circle activity, enjoying, watching cinema or plays or cooking. And we can make the tasks more detailed, and we can have diverse people joining casually in this community. Thank you very much. Any question for Team 8? I'm Murakami. I have a question. Please.
もうそう考えていらっしゃるんだろうと思うんですけども。
I think you have this already in your mind, but it's same as institutions. So it is like a hybrid, like virtual and like a real world, combined. Is this the idea? Yes. As for situation at the workplace, it will be for after Corona. It will be like working like for distance, and that will be like virtual. But within that, in terms of like an analog type of communication, we still want to have communication in reality, as with like virtually or in distance. Thank you very much.
ありがとうございました。はい。他には大丈夫でしょうか。
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
これには大丈夫でしょうか。
So now we proceed to judging of the presentations. We will come back in about 15 minutes. So that'll be 5 minutes after 4. So please wait until then. We'll see you in a few minutes.
しばらくお待ちください。しばらく失礼します。どうぞ取ってください。
Okay, see you soon.
では失礼します。
では、じゃあ、
Let us start.
お待たせいたしました。
Well, thank you for waiting. We will now begin our award ceremony. So the first ceremony award to be conferred is a sponsor award. The Big Dream Award, given by Kawada Technologies, is a using program, a society without any institutions, Team 3. So congratulations to Team 3, and please give us a few words. Team 3. I will show you now the faces of the Team 3. You were now conferred with the Big Dream Award by the Kawada Technologies. Thank you. From Team 3, Mori-san, would you like to say a few words of receiving this award? Thank you for this wonderful award, the Big Dream Award. At Team 3, those people with diverse disability, and among them, the visually impaired was the target, and from the initial discussion, we wanted to create a society without any institutions, and that was the keyword used to brainstorm. And it's great that we came up with such conclusion or results or deliverable that was that was awarded by the Big Dreams Award. Now, the Daiwa house industry is providing us a sustainable award, which goes to Team 4, the Dream Glass. So congratulations. Maybe can we ask you to give us a few words, Team 4? This is Hasegawa. I was the presenter. The Sustainable Award. I never imagined that we will get such an award from Daiwa house industry. I'm so happy that you got the idea from my presentation. I would like to ask the person from Daiwa house what she liked most about our presentation. Thank you to my teammates who helped me and receive this award. Thank you for a splendid idea. So we exchanged opinions with the residents as we co-created the township. The elder you become, and if you have a disability, it's very difficult to voice your opinion. It's very difficult to communicate your thoughts. And if there's a system that can support these people gently, and people who have never known each other, if they are able to come to contact, that kind of occasion is something that is most desired now. So I thought what you presented was an essence for a sustainable township creation.
こちらは8番
Now
の
Teamwork Show award from Cybozu. It's Team 8. spreading in eightfold team. Number 18, can we receive your comment? Thank you very much for the word. We didn't have a person with disability in our group, but we had diverse people as a member, and we had a very different like talks and thoughts being shared, and we were able to, have each one of us play their role in our discussion. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Now I'm moving on to the Ideathon Awards. 3 teams will be awarded for the Lives Ideathon Excellent Award. First one is the team 2 using the LC, transparent LC, for their idea. Can we have a word from that team? Team 2, please. I'm Miyake. Sorry, I couldn't put together my, talk. Like I mentioned earlier, it was like a world without a wall. But if all the walls are taken out, it becomes, a worrying matter too. And that protecting will become inconvenient. So that's why rather than taking out the wall, we made a transparent wall. And having a wall is the point where we started that in having a decent wall is good for us to protect ourselves and look after each other. Next, second team, Go Future team. Yes, society without crossing. Congratulations. Can you give us some words? Hello, I'm Tanida. Thank you very much for the splendid award. For the people with, visual disability, crossing is like is a very hard life, in a way threatening, conduct. But if we were able to cross the street with safety and securely, and that would be the best. And I really appreciate all the team members who worked to get this award. Thank you very much. Lastly, excellent award, Sharing Town Robot, Team 7. Congratulations. Can we have some words? Ms. Kato, please, and Ms. Horie. Hi. Yes, my name is Horie, and I'm Kato, Team 7. I have, yes, we have both have disability, visual and with our mobility, and we came idea based on our disabled society, and as a team, it was such a dream. It's like a dream discussion, and the team was very cooperative, and we had a very fruitful discussion. If this was like the result of our effort, I'm very happy about it. And I want to thank all the members of my team. And we work together, and we've been evaluated for our work. And thank you very much for all your help. And thank you very much for everybody. And I hope our society will become easier for all of us in the future. Thank you very much for all of your splendid ideas. Big Dream Show, Sustainable Awards, and Teams Award, and 3 excellent awards. Congratulations very much. And Team 6, you've done very well too. And lastly, in closing, we would like to ask Ms. Ayahiga, the Executive Committee airport of the LIVES project, to encapsulate the LIVES technology Ideathon. Thank you very much for your participation and cooperation. It was very exciting, unique ideas came up, And I hope all of your ideas will put into effect in the smart city. This was the first live Ideathon, and it was very challenging because it was online. But on behalf of the team and all the speakers and the judges and all of the people who have cooperated and supporting the companies and the judges and all the people who have taken part in this event. Thank you very much. Mr. Sato, Hisamu, how the technology has changed his life. I hope this Ideathon will make a change in our world in the future, become sustainable society, and we can make a society where we can live happily together. And all the excellent ideas that were awarded, I hope you could work harder to put this into effect. I'm looking forward to seeing you on September 26th when this project will be put together. Thank you very much, all of you, for your help and support. Thank you very much. For those teams receiving the awards, again, congratulations. And for the 3 teams have awarded as excellent awards in September 26th, coming September, in annual event of life event, you will be presenting in the event and partnering with the company to put this idea into realization. We will give you further information later. And again, thank you very much for your cooperation and your support. And for those of you who have joined us with YouTube and online, thank you very much from deep of my heart. With this, we would like to close the Live Technology Ideathon. Thank you very much. We appreciate